Two monitors to illustrate what both our graphic cards are doing. This one is displaying the main operating system Linux, and this one is displaying the operating system Windows through the QEMU virtual machine with the GPU that has been passed through. Now, the two graphics cards I will be using in the whole operation are the AMD graphics card and the NVIDIA graphics card. The NVIDIA graphics part will be the card that will be passed inside of QEMU to display the virtual machine of Windows. And also, before doing all that, we'll be using the AMD CPU, which is under this vent that you can see. And we'll be doing some settings inside of the BIOS with that. To allow the pass-through, you might want to enable a setting called IOMMU. It might be called something else depending on the device that you're using, such as Intel VT or AMD VI. And you also want to enable virtualization. In my case, the setting is called SVM for the virtual machine to work fine inside your device. Once your BIOS setup is done, what you want to do is do some settings with the devices that you want to pass through. You use a script that is present also in the Arch Linux repository or also displayed on the screen, and you will take every single vendor ID and project ID of the devices under the group of the device that you want to pass through. In my case, it's group 15, and I have the vendor ID and the project ID of the audio device and the graphics card. Then what you will do is go inside of etcd for grub and add this line VFIO equals and every single project and vendor ID next to each other. You also want to make sure to add AMD IMMU and IMMU PT over here if you have a AMD CPU. If you have another CPU, you might have to add something else. I just want to precise as well that if you have quiet among the options over here, make sure to remove it in order to be able to debug when you boot up your computer. You also go inside etcd-mod-prob-view-file.conf. If you don't have that file, you can create it. If you do have it, just add these lines. This line is optional, but I put it just for good measures. And you can add this line as well, soft-def NVIDIA preview file PCI to avoid NVIDIA from taking over your graphics card. Once this is done, you can enter this command, grub make config output in the grub configuration to update your grub configuration, and then you can reboot your computer. Once your computer has booted up, you want to do a couple of things. First, check if you have changed to VFIO for your kernel. Here you can confirm it for the graphics card and the audio device is VFIO PCI. After that, you want to add yourself to the input group by doing user mode add group input and type your username. You can confirm here that I'm in the input group. Once this is done, you also want to go inside of this file right here in order to add some root in order to be able to do the pass-through. This is the line that you want to add. If this file doesn't exist, you can just create it and add this line. After that, you want to go in the limits.conf file in order to set a maximum memory that you want for your device. And I cannot tell you specifically because I'm not very knowledgeable about that, but if you don't do this, you won't be able to run your virtual machine. Once this is done, you can simply reload the rule by doing sudo udevad control reload rules, and finally sudo udevad trigger. Once everything is done, you can simply install QEMU by doing sudo pacman s QEMU, and you have multiple type of QEMU that you want to install, but my suggestion is that you install QEMU full in order to get all the package that you need and not have any issue. But if you already know what you're doing and what package you need, you can go ahead and install QEMU base and you'll be able to avoid some bloat. We've completed the permission setup, and now you're going to create a disk for QEMU. First off, you're going to use this command to create that disk. QEMU create image with the format that you want. It can either be QCOW2 or RAW. For me, I'm going to be using RAW, and you will specify the size that you want. I suggest you take a pretty big size since Windows take quite a lot of space. And after you've created it, you also need a few ISOs. You need the Windows ISO as well as the virt-manager ISO that you can find in the following website by going on your search engine. Here, there's a virt-manager that you can find for Fedora, and you can use pick stable or latest, and you will pick this one. For Windows, you can simply go on the official website over here, and you get the image file which you need for that. After this is done, you're going to create a shell script. I recommend you use a shell script to do your QEMU setup because as you can see in this shell script, there's quite a bit of line. Now I cannot explain everything that this shell script do because I don't have a lot of knowledge on QEMU, but I'll explain a couple of things. Over here we have all the files that we need. We have our disk, we have the Windows ISO, and as well as the Fedora ISO that we need to install the guest that will allow you to get some devices inside our virtual machine. We also have these following lines out there, which are the reason why we add ourselves to the input group in order to get the mouse and the keyboard. After that is done, you can simply run the shell script and you'll be able to run your virtual machine. Don't forget as well over here in audio, you will specify which is your driver. For me, it's Pipewire. It might be Pulse Audio for you. In that case, you will write PA, or ALSA, you will write something else as well. And you will specify which sound card is yours. And mine is the second sound card, which is my headset. And that is that. Okay, so now we can run the virtual machine. We'll just type boot to run it. And now you see the monitor opening right there, which is the one which is connected to our Windows graphics card. Right. So we got our disk here, and we're going to download this. Now this is going to take quite a bit, so I'll just skip through until everything is done. Alright, so the system has boot up. What I suggest you do, right, I'm going to set up everything for my machine. If you don't want to enter your Outlook information and all that, and just create a machine without any information, I suggest you just turn off your internet on your main machine in order to avoid for Microsoft to get your credential and all that. And once you've done your setup, you can just turn it back on so it doesn't ask you to get your Outlook and etc. So I'll do the setup and then I'll open the machine. Once you've installed, you open the operating system, you can just go in the virt-io CD and install the guest tools over here. These guest tools are going to allow the machine to recognize some of the devices that are connected inside our virtual machine. So this tool will take quite a bit, so I'll skip that through as well. Just accept if it asks you for option. That's what I can suggest to you. Once you finish downloading the virt-io drivers, your PC should look like something like this instead of that black and white weirdness that you saw before. And you need to install the drivers for NVIDIA if you have an NVIDIA graphics card like me. You can go ahead in your search engine and type NVIDIA drivers. That'll get you to this page over here, and you give the stats of your graphics card, in my case 360, and download the driver. Once this is done, your computer should have your virtual machine should have near native performance, and you'll be able to do tasks with your graphics card that you can normally do with a virtualized graphic card.